for the first time since his release all the way back in November of last year, Rayman may have a chance to be at the top of the meta, or at least near the top. So what's different? What's changed? Why is Rayman so good now? Well, if we go back, a little bit back in time, to when I released the Rayman first impressions video, I said he has great stats, actually amazing stat spread. He has very strong signatures, but his weapons aren't really in the meta. They're a little out of favor. And the only thing really holding him back, because it's not stats like Queen Nai, it's not signatures like Jiro, it's his weapons in the meta. And now, that started to change, and Rayman, along with some other buffs, is seeing the light, let me tell you, okay? Rayman, let me break it down. Axe Gauntlets, Axe, Heatwave Patch, got a complete rework, big boy buffs. Ground Pound, super strong. Dare, complete rework. Gauntlets also got +1 damage in the most recent patch, but we don't talk about that, that doesn't really matter. Gauntlet's pretty much unchanged, so, but they're good, so it's all good, it's all good. And then in the, what is it, the most recent patch, WWE, how could I forget that? Axe got buffed again, with down air getting a little bit of increased force. So Axe, on the rise for sure. Axe making big new waves. So of course Rayman is going to be buffed up a little bit by that. But on top of that, since his release, he's had a series of really small little buffs here and there. You know, +1 startup, or I guess -1 startup. -1 startup here, +1 would be bad. -2 recovery there. It tends to add up, you know, if you're getting buffs pretty much every patch. And then in the most recent one, WWE, he didn't get small buffs, he got huge buffs. -3 frames of startup to the Axe down sig, which was already a very strong signature. -8 frames of recovery to the Gauntlets down sig. Both of his side sig, or his side sig and his neutral sig, both of his big punches on Gauntlets can now be charged up with the GC. There's a lot of things going for Rayman, but the huge one, the one that matters the most, is the Axe down sig change. And you'll see this a few times in these clips here, where you're just not reacting to that. 10 frames of startup on that signature. Actually, I believe it's the third stock of this cross here. I hit it twice, and if you're watching at home, whenever I use that sig, just press K on the video. That'll pause it right there. If you press K, congratulations, you reacted. But I'm assuming that you didn't, because 10 frames is pretty unreactable. And for the amount that you get, the reward for that down sig, 10 frames of startup is very scary. And it's a little difficult to punish as well. If you're keyed in, you can. Basically, I queued up Experimental, trying to show off some of Rayman's strengths and also some of his counterplay, so towards the later end of these clips, you'll see some people start to get used to the down sig, work around it. Here, I went for an extra kill. The Wushang was already dead, but unfortunately, I mistimed it. Got the nair out, got the chase dodge. A little bit too antsy on my part, going for something big, and now I'm eating punishment, but it's all good. I'm living, as you can see. But anyway, so Rayman got a bunch of buffs. But that's not all, because buffs aren't necessarily enough to push you to the top. I don't know what that downlight was. I knew that neutral sig was coming. I kind of just beefed it. Buffs aren't enough, right? Because even if Axe gets buffed a lot, it probably will still have some bad matchups, which doesn't make Rayman the best character in the game. I don't think Rayman is the best, but I do think he has a very solid place in the meta now, at least way more than before. Like before, if you're playing a Gauntlets character, might as well play Mordex. Why would you pick Rayman unless you're already main Axe? If you're playing Axe, maybe pick Jala. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are other picks that were more meta than Rayman, but now Katars have been nerfed, which Katars into Gauntlets, Katars into Axe can be difficult matchups. I wouldn't say they're terrible by any means for either of the weapon, but they can be a little bit difficult. So that helps Rayman out a lot. Scythe has been nerfed. I think Scythe is really good against, very good against Axe. I think it can also do well against Gauntlets, although Gauntlets may sometimes have an easier time building up damage. I would argue that matchup is a lot more even than Axe, for sure. But the main thing is that Scythe got nerfed, Katars got nerfed, Cannon got a little bit of a nerf. And so Rayman, his bad matchups, at least a few of them, have been made a little bit easier. He's got a bunch of buffs. Both of his weapons have got a bunch of buffs. And now he's looking very scary. Again, his stats do not hold him back at all. 5.566. In any meta, 5.566 is amazing. So he's chilling. His signatures, even outside of that one, which, by the way, do you see how far that one sent? The first one? The first one? He was like an orange. Poor Caspian. It's okay. It's okay. I lost my train of thought. Not just that sig is good. The axe side sig also got a buff in the most recent patch. It goes a little faster now, it deals a little more damage, so that's also good. That side sig, it does have a little bit of startup and it doesn't hit stacked, but it's very hard to react to. The end sig, you'll see I actually use it a few times as a GC to recover, where previously I wouldn't be able to. It's actually in the next game, not this one, so maybe I should have held off to mention that, but keep that in the back of your mind that that's always an option, as well as killing very early. And then obviously the sparked up versions of both this end sig that I'm charging here over and over again and the side sig are very powerful. There I missed a ledge cancel, trying to go for the down sig. It's okay, Caspian overcommitted. I ended up cheesing out the kill anyway. Sometimes happens, you know. These things happen. Rayman's got a solid sig kit. I would say that all of his axe sigs have use. I think Gauntlet down sig isn't as good as the other ones. Despite getting -8 frames of recovery, it still is a little situational. You see I use it here. I was just trying to show off all the sigs. Did it a little bit too early, unfortunately. But it's all good. Side sig, very strong. Very hard to react to. The range is crazy. If you're horizontally... Okay, I don't... Whenever I do stuff like this, I just start trolling. You can see it. I'm just like, okay. We're all good. I missed the second one here. If I got that, that would have been cool. Anyway, probably GCNC would have been better. On to the King's Pass game, you'll see I use the N-Sig here. So this is where we start to see a little bit of counterplay to the Rayman. To be honest, you know, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. First half of this game I really wasn't paying too much attention, and you can kind of see it. I start going for unsafe things, like what is that? But regardless, you do see a little bit of counterplay around the signatures, and then, of course, something happens. Because I wouldn't be including this clip without something noteworthy besides that GCN sig that I'm talking about. But his signatures don't hold him back by any means, and they actually are assets, because when we think about, or when I think about signature kits that are very, very strong, obviously having one really good tool that is just super powerful is very good. Like Petra Ensig on Gauntlets. It's super, super, super strong. Hard to punish, kills early, does a ton of damage. It's good. Everything about that sig is good. Nothing about that sig is bad. Actually, nothing. But on the other hand, Petra Ensig on Gauntlets is basically just sidelight or recovery. It covers the same exact area. What Rayman side sig has is an option on the Gauntlets, I should say, and on the axe actually, is an option that the weapon normally doesn't have to kill. Also, he just gives me that kill. This is when the game starts to kind of turn around. He gives me the kill. Maybe I start waking up a little bit. There's a few moments actually in this match. Like right here, you see I noticed that when he picks up the weapon, he immediately jumps. So I'm thinking, oh, his habit is to immediately jump. So right here, after he whiffs, I go for the punish, and then go for the jump read immediately after. And that's when things start to turn around. Anyway, I was talking about the Gauntlet side sig. Is that Gauntlets don't have that grounded kill option. Here's the end sig, by the way. Don't have that horizontal grounded kill option. But because Rayman has side sig, you also have to worry about being in that space. There's the down sig. Once again, getting the knockout so early, so fast. You did not react to that. You did not press K. Let me tell you. You did not press K. Yeah, it's a good option. And the same with the axe. Axe's grounded kill option is Neutralite, which is very slow and very punishable. But Rayman has that axe side sig, so you also have to be worried about that lunge forward on the ground. So that's also what makes Rayman sigs good, is they cover areas that his weapons normally don't. Here I start trolling a little bit. I'm just going for the same recovery every time, see if he adapts to it. That GC downlight was actually very good, covering the landing and everything. Anyway, I am going to commentate a little bit over these games as they're going on, if I think there's something of note or interesting, so apologies if that gets a little bit annoying. Yeah, Rayman. I'm a big fan of the character. I think his design is really good. With everything I'm saying about how strong he is, it's not like he's super, super, super broken or anything like that. I don't think he's nearly on the level of when Mordex was at the top of the meta or anything like that. Again, I don't even think he's the best character in the game. But I think it's an important thing to talk about, because not only did is it kind of reaffirming what I said when he came out here, is he knows I'm going for the down sig, but I was basically saying, okay, you know I'm going for it. Let's see if you can avoid it. And I got away with it. Here is the same player, so this is where we're going to notice a little bit of adaptation. the different signatures, and you can see some counterplay. So that's why I think it's good to include these. Anyway, it reaffirms what I was saying. It also shows how changes in the balance can affect a character pretty dramatically, even though Rayman was still a good character before. Like, I thought he was still a very strong character, but these changes can dramatically increase his placement on someone's tier list. Again, tier lists, they're not that big of a deal in Brawlhalla. Every character is pretty similar to the point where balance is very good, but it's like going from S tier to S plus tier basically, which, whatever, take that as you will. But yeah, Rayman, I have a feeling you're going to see him a lot more in tournaments because of one specific player, and that's Boomy. You see also he nares that down sig. A little bit of adaptation. Good to know. I jump into that. Turned off my brain. Don't look at that one though. Don't look at that one. Boomy has expressed a lot of interest in picking up the Rayman. And I mean, I think it's a good pick. I really do. If this video is telling you anything, if this gameplay of all these down sigs is telling you anything, that I do think Rayman is very strong. He is kind of like, when I think about very basic, I guess basic isn't the right word, but characters that represent a kind of archetype that's very all around, I think of Bodvar, I think of Bryn. And I think Rayman is also one of those three. So for a character like Rayman to be very strong, if you're interested in gauntlets or axe at all, I think he's a fantastic pick for you. His sigs, despite having some interesting mechanics like the charge, are actually very basic. Neutral sig, for example, upward hit, side sig, sideways hit, down sig, edge guard. Very simple. But yeah, his stats in combination with everything, he's designed to be an all-rounder character, which is very nice. I don't know how that ground pound didn't hit me, but I'm thanking my lucky stars. You see that he's expecting the down sig. I kind of just start trolling a little bit. How do I get back to stage? I get knocked off. He goes for a charge down sig, maybe a little bit desperate. I just punish with the sped up side sig, and it's all good. We're all good. Now on to Plains of Passage. Switches up both weapons. So when I go into this match, I'm thinking, okay, I have to get used to how this player plays with both these weapons. But I do know he loves to wake up attack, so that's why I went for that 3-piece that actually wasn't true. I get my recovery interrupted. I could have gotten gimped there. Almost caught the dodge. Get hit by the down sig again, which is not a good look, but I end up taking it anyway. Overextension on the Lucian's part, and that's when I start to heat up, steamroll. My axe was definitely feeling a lot better today than my gauntlets were. You can kind of see I prefer the axe on a lot of these gameplay clips. It's not to say I don't play the gauntlets at all, but I do think I was moving pretty well in this match around the gun's hitboxes. And here I go for a GC sidelight instead of a normal sidelight, so I can get the ledge cancel downlight to extend the combo on the platform. Little bit of Plains of Passage tech on the fly there. I knew he was going to do that wake up attack, so instead of going for an immediate punish, or immediate attack, which wasn't guaranteed, I went for the wait. Ended up paying off, and now I've got a solid lead. I do a wake up down sig there. I'm kind of starting to, I don't know, joke around a little bit. You can really see with that down sig, I just get away with it. That wake up down sig actually would have worked if I didn't hold it, which is kind of the funny part. But now I think this Lucian is starting to get a little bit flustered. I've started to catch on to where he wants to go, when he wants to attack, and that's when I start to run away with it. You see I interrupt the dodge there, get a 3-piece. He knows I'm going to down sig, so I do it on the platform, and unfortunately, I go for the mix-up. So he knows I'm looking for down sig. He's been conditioned at this point 2 games, actually 3 games. Here's the Knicks as well. 3 games in, and he knows I'm going to down sig. So I try to mix it up with a jump, instant fast fall ground pound. I miss the fast fall input. I go way too far, and I end up dying for it, but it's all good. I get this neutral sig here, and you see how that killed? He was in the light orange, or not light orange. He was in the orange. He was in the, okay, maybe dark orange. I'll give you dark orange. He was in the dark orange when that NSIG came out, and it killed. That's kind of crazy, or NSIG I should say. I think he was just very, very flustered by everything that happened that game, like the slide charge down sig off stage, missed the punish, and then me doing 3 down sigs in a row. Something happened to where he could not punish that down sig. I don't know what it is. Maybe he thought it would have more recovery frames. It did, again, get changed recently. There was a moment where he went for a nair into a reverse sair. No longer a safe option after the changes, and here we can just see, oh my gosh, the power of down sig. You didn't press K. I know for a fact. If you pressed K, you're a liar. You are a liar. Maybe you predicted it, but that's not reacting. That's different. Anyway, I start to get a little bit obvious with my down sigs because I'm getting away with it. And you'll see how he starts to counterplay. He starts going for GC N sig to punish it, which is, I mean, it would kill me. So it is a good option. You see right here. But he shows me his cards a little bit early. I didn't actually know he was going to go for that until he did that right there. It's like, I think in his mind, I could be completely wrong. When this player picked Nyx, he's thinking, okay, well, if he goes for the down sig, I'm going in with the game plan. When I pick up the guns, I'm going to GC N-sig. I probably should have N-sig there, but Sarah would have killed, so it's all good. I think he went in with that game plan, and because he saw the opportunity to do it right away, he rushed it. And you'll see he does it again right here, preemptively. I knew, because he showed me his cards earlier, I knew that he was going to go for that N-sig. And basically, I went through something that would punish it, which was a throw down into a down air. I did it a little bit too slow, and I got caught by the N-sig. The throw still hit, but I ended up dying for it, unfortunately. But I did have the read. He showed me his cards a little early. There was a prime example of adaptation. He was afraid of my down sig because I showed it in the last game when he was Lucian, when he wasn't able to punish. And because of that, he went way off the wall. Even though I missed, one hit, out of jumps, dead. That's the game. That's the video. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe a little bit about Rayman, different SIGs, how to play around them, how to play around playing around them. Level 2 adaptation. And maybe you'll pick them in a future video. In a future game, not a future video. Well, who knows? Maybe you're making videos too. If you are, then play Rayman.